Good morning, friend. Michele Peterson here. Coach Michele Peterson. It is time for a coffee chat, and today we're going to talk about fear. So grab your cup of coffee, your cup of tea, your bottle of water, whatever it is that you are hydrating yourself with today, and settle in for just a quick little break. But let's talk about fear. I happen to love scary movies, horror flicks. One of my very favorites is The Shining by Stephen King. The book was amazing, and most of the times books don't translate well into movies, but I think they did such a great job with The Shining. And so it's one that I watch like every Halloween time. And so I really love being scared, right? In the movie sense. But it got me thinking about this idea of fear, because I think as business owners, as entrepreneurs, as working from home women, sometimes we have some fear about our profession. And I wanted to give you some tips on how to deal with that. Because first of all, fear can be healthy. Fear is a trigger. It triggers an emotional response. It triggers actually the fight or flight response in our bodies, right? Now, fear, if you are in an isolated hotel, snowbound with Jack Nicholson, and he is putting an axe through your door, that fear is a healthy fear. The danger is imminent, right? It's a real danger, and that fear is legit. However, we're usually not in that kind of situation, right? So what kind of things might you fear when you are working from home? People all the time tell me they are afraid of networking. So I heard a guy, and he will freely admit it. He admitted it in front of hundreds, thousands probably of people. And, in a recent conference presentation, how he, in his first early days of business, and he was going into a networking event, he headed straight through the crowd, straight to the back of the room, to the bathrooms, and stood in the bathroom stall just shaking because he was afraid of talking to people and afraid of networking. So let me ask you, is that fear a real imminent danger, a real imminent threat? Or was that all in his head? I think you would agree it was mostly in his head, right? I don't think anybody has ever really been physically harmed by shaking somebody's hand and talking to them at a networking event. But we can make it seem so scary in our heads. And we do this with lots of things. We do this with sending an email to a new prospect, or sending a text, picking up the phone and calling people. And I'm not dismissing those fears. I'm just saying, let's be real. Let's have some real talk. Let me give you some tough love here. And let me ask you, is that really an imminent physical threat to your well-being? And I'm here to tell you, in most cases, it's not, right? So I'm sure you've probably heard of this acronym for the letters in the word fear: false evidence appearing real. That would be for these kinds of mental fears that we put up, and to prevent us from doing things that are uncomfortable. Now, uncomfortable is different from different from something being actually physically threatening to you. Okay? Uncomfortable is still in our heads, and sometimes that manifests itself in our bodies too. But it is something that we can work through. And I'm suggesting that it's probably worth it to work through being uncomfortable, because here's another interesting thing, and I do not remember where I read it or heard it, but being uncomfortable is sometimes a sign that what you are doing matters, that what you are about to do is the right thing for you to do. Right? And now, isn't that interesting? So instead of actually protecting you, and yes, it is your mind trying to protect you from the what ifs that we all think about, right? What if this goes wrong? What if whatever, right? So it is your brain still trying to protect you, but it is protecting you from something that isn't really a threat. Is your mind blown, right? So I want to encourage you to really look at what is it that you are afraid of in your working from home life. Now, I'm not saying just to be foolishly cautious either. So I work from home by myself. Now I work with I share my home with 2 dogs, one of whom is my head of security, and the other one is like my chief greeter. So, right. So they're 2 different personalities. One will lick you to death, and one is, a bigger dog, and he takes his responsibilities of protection quite seriously. Even still, I do not just blindly open the door to anybody who just knocks on my door when I'm here alone with the dogs, right? I have a Ring doorbell. I look and sometimes I will just talk through the Ring doorbell and say, hey, thank you. Leave it on the porch. I have a chair on my porch. Leave it on the chair, whatever the case may be. I do not just open the door because I am cautious. Now, cautious being that's a healthy response, right? Because you do not know, if I do not know that person who is, ringing my doorbell, I do not just need to put myself in potential harm's way. That's different from walking into a networking event and saying hello and shaking somebody's hand, right? So I'm not telling you to be foolishly fearless, but I am encouraging you to take a good look at what you are afraid of and really evaluate, is this a real and imminent threat, or is it false evidence appearing real? Is it me just trying to protect myself from something that's uncomfortable? And if it is something that is just you trying to protect yourself from being uncomfortable, I want you to challenge that thought. I want you to challenge it and think, instead of what if something goes wrong, I want you to flip that around and imagine, what if something goes really right? Let's go back to my friend who was so scared of networking. What if, instead of being so afraid that he went straight to the bathroom stall and was shaking in his boots, I think he might have even thrown up. What if instead he thought about just meeting one person at that event, one person who looked nice, who looked approachable, who looked not scary at all, right? What if he walked up to that person and started a conversation? What if that person was able to connect him with somebody else who was like his best client ever? What if that person themselves was his best client ever, right? And what if by going straight to the bathroom stall, what if by giving in to his internal fear, and in this case, we are talking about the false evidence. What if believing that false evidence so much made him miss out on that great potential client, or that great potential connection, or that great potential whatever it is, right? So flip your mental narrative, and instead of what if this horrible thing happens, which is what prompts your fear, switch that around and say, what if an amazing thing happens, right? And see if that helps. So it is something that we all struggle with. I am here to tell you, if you are feeling fear, do not think that you're alone. It is something that we all have to overcome and we all have to deal with. I'm just saying it's worth it. It is worth facing those fears and overcoming. So I hope this has been helpful, and I hope that you enjoy those spooky, scary movies up through and maybe even a little after Halloween. And I hope you just enjoy this season. Make it a great day. Think about overcoming those fears. Save the fears for the movies, and when you're there safe with your popcorn. And just really, I hope that this has been helpful. And if you are enjoying these tips and these insights that I bring you on these videos, I have a great opportunity for you, and I will put the link to it in the chat. You can now sign up and activate your free subscription to my weekly newsletter, where I bring you insights, tips on how to be more productive, more connected, more confident as you are working from home. I will put that into the comments below. It is simply coachmichellepeterson.com/newsletter. And you can sign up. It is completely free, and you'll get it in your inbox on Sundays. So I appreciate that. I would love to have you join my tribe of working from home winners. And as always, if you know somebody else who would benefit from watching this video, please do share and share the newsletter opportunity as well. I would love to grow my working from home tribe and really help more women, because I'm on a mission. I am on a mission to help empower women to succeed with working from home. Thank you for helping, and I will see you again next time. Bye for now.